We are live and direct. Nice one. So, jumping straight in, here we are again, and it feels so fantastic to be back. A warm welcome to you all, and thank you for joining us. It's always such a pleasure to host my next guest, and so enjoyable making the introductions. He was made aware of his calling to service from the tender age of 6 years old, having received a calling card from the universe in the form of a majestic om sound, which I'm not even going to try to replicate here. His spiritual experience was the catalyst for decades of self-discovery, training, client work, TV appearances, not least via his own show. It's worth pointing out this is back in the days when there was only a few TV channels on our TV sets. He's a multiple best-selling author with some 23 books published. Now, with his own publishing company, Wayward Publications, he helps those who think outside the box to get their message out to the masses. In short, he's helped literally millions of people to transform their lives, living with more expansion, joy, and a fuller expression of themselves. He's also a musician, DJ producer, the creator of the world-class Amped series, a program which will help you to fulfill your mission in this lifetime. I'm sure we'll be talking a little bit more about this today as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you the mighty, amazing Barefoot Doctor, everyone.
Thank you, man. He sounds like quite a guy.
Doesn't he? Yes, he absolutely does. How are you doing, man?
Being the guy doing all that stuff, I'm kind of dancing with, dealing with that kind of constant threat of total overload. There are just too many details and stuff to be holding in one straight line, and rolling with a quite ridiculously amazing flow. I mean, I don't want to be conceited about it. It's not that. It's just the sense of things just kind of coming through creatively, musically, and so on, in a really interestingly surprising way. I mean, really like, wow, that was something. And I'm like a bystander the whole time, watching, going, wow, how get this going? And if I remember to do what I teach people to do, which I do most of the time, which is stay in my back and watch the process going on rather than get drawn forwards and get lost in the drama, which is really an imaginary one. And sometimes it's hard not to because it's really compelling. But it's scary, things are happening, all of that. But so if I remember to stay back, I feel it beautifully, and that's so reassuring because that's what I'm teaching people to do all the time. So it's good to know it. I know it sounds obvious. It's really good to know again and again that it works to keep you in a sane state. Sane meaning being able to make your madness work for you, because there's not a single person on the planet, I wager, who's not actually nuts, because it's part of the human condition. So it's just learning how to make that work for you, i.e. work in society in a benign way that, that benefits everybody, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, you meant all of that. Yeah, I was, last night you sent me one of your exciting new audios, and from the microdose, like the amped body of work. And I'd love you to share what's in the pipeline, what's coming next for the amped body of work, for want of a better way of sort of describing it.
Well, you have to understand, I mean, call me maybe loony if you want, I don't care. But for me, the experience is that I am being channeled through to deal with this. So it's like I'm not making it up, and I have to just follow the guidance. So that's all I'm doing. And the next bit of guidance after do the 3 volumes of 18 hours of altogether of that, you now need to do microdoses. Microdosing is quite fashionable now. People microdose on mushrooms and acid and whatever else. Personally, I always found it a very irritating state to be in. And I wouldn't bother with it myself. I did used to in the 90s a bit, but yeah. But I like the idea of microdosing as a concept. And the brief was, and I'm fulfilling it, is to do 3 to 3.5 minute tracks in which I'm able to create in a more condensed, intense way, the same effect, the same kind of entrainment effect to the mind, using just one very simple idea for each one, that would then therefore appeal to and be acceptable to and helpful to, most importantly, people in that kind of all important 18 to 35, excuse the cliche, age range. Because, they're the ones that are going to be in command of the ship, so it's important. And they're really up against it. I feel for people of that age intensively, because I'm not really grown out of it myself, and I know what it feels like, and it's scary, and it's hard, especially now. It's really difficult. So I do have help to give. So I think, how do I do that? Well, I don't even think how. It's obvious that this is the way. So through the microdoses, I'm developing quite a lot of them, to address every kind of goal that you could have, being able to overcome your anxiety for, performance, performing well, being able to stay in command of the details, or being successful in life, or being somebody, or making sure that you're safe, and all the things that people are dealing with. There will be one for every single of those. And then the next stage is, while I'm doing that, I'm working on setting up a record label called NUK, N-U-K, which stands for Neural Unlock Key. Reason being is because I'm also producing 2 albums with a guy called Patrick Dawes, otherwise known as Coyote. He's from Groove Armada, a herbalizer, and a proper alchemist, and it's shamanic healing. Electronic music, shamanic. It's absolutely amazing. Featuring him, so when I'm producing other people, not only it's going to come through Nook, and so there's that. And in the process of setting up a crowdfunding campaign for Amped Head, which is the app. It's going to be the first of the apps. I want to do a virtual reality one after that. This would be the first of the apps. Where you can access the microdoses, basically, because that's a good way of doing it. So that's kind of where it is at the moment, as being guided. We're working with quite a few different people on these things, and I've just found the vocal trope, so to speak. Because you've got to be succinct and quick. So the thing is, when I'm feeling blah blah blah, I say blah blah blah, and it's that kind of thing. Getting the tone of voice and the rhythm, the cadence, the sort of attitude of it, just so, because it's really different doing a 3.5 minute track, and they're working. They're pretty amazing. I think they're, they will be when they're all finalised. So that's what I'm mostly doing, juggling these worlds, and then keep remembering. I've got to rewrite all the homepage and the sales page of Barefoot site, and I've got to do this, how it's been.
So what are you up to the Doc? I've started a new record company, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and this is and I'm doing a collaboration with this one, and it's a delight to hear all of that. So I'm so excited for you. That all sounds amazing. I'm going to nip into the comments. We've got 15 beautiful viewers online. We've got Sarah saying, morning all. Good morning to you, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. Judy Kennedy saying good morning. Stephen and Danny, hello to you as well. Got Juliet Owens saying good morning both, and to you, Julia.
Hi.
Julia Jenkins, good morning, chaps. Great to see you and you.
Good morning.
So that is us up to date.
Did I tell you about when I lived with the Native Americans? And there was a guy that used to make drums called Tell Us Good Morning. That was his name. And you go past his house, because I used to live on the reservation. You go past his house in the morning, and the deal was, you go, tell us good morning. And you go, good morning.
What a great story. Yeah. So that microdose, you sent me the lovely track, little snippet, and it was all about, the narrative was, I'm always in the right place at the right time with the right people doing the right things, and all the rest of it. It's so uplifting, and it does kind of remind you of that. We can so easily get out of flow situation and believe that life's against us or whatever else. Life's a struggle. Just gets you back quickly, snaps you back into no, I'm always in the right place at the right time with the right people, and so on. Yeah.
I'm always in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing in the right way with the right people with the right result. I'm always in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing in the right way with the right people with the right result.
You're so quick and punchy. It's like I had my headphones on. I'm thinking, wow, how does he keep that in time and not stumble over?
Years of practice.
It's funny, I was meditating a few days ago, just trying to get inspiration for the show, how we could serve people. And I was, inspired to ask you this question, which I think will indirectly help other people as well. And the question is, Doc, one day when you're back in the non-physical realms, and hopefully that's not for years to come, you're still thriving, to be honest, and being a massive creative force and serving in the world. But when you're back into non-physical, whenever that may come, what would you like to think that your gift is to the world? Excuse me. Could you wrap some words around it?
Well, that's a lovely question. Firstly, I have to say I'm quite pleased that I'm still above ground. But when I'm no longer, I never presume to think I'll leave anything behind that people will remember at all. But if there is anything, it would be that what I would love it to be would be that somehow or other, through the interaction with me and whatever I've done, people feel able to accept themselves as they are, and to know that what they are is not just this human form, but it is the big one. It's the big presence, and and that everything's all right. Really, whatever happens, it's all fine. That's all. Just that people learn how to be a little bit happier through me, I think.
Yeah. And I want to add, you're amazing at connecting people, and you make the esoteric easy to understand, and you bring it into a grounded awareness and explain it in ways that people think, right, I understand that, and that's something else I think that you do extremely well.
Thank you.
No problem.
Oh man, if I love something with me all the time, it just reminds me of these things. It'd be brilliant. And that thing you said at the beginning, I'd love to have a copy of that intro. That was like the best description I'd ever heard. Wonderful.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I just want to follow it up with a little story, because I think this will help others as well. Because I took a month off recently, and it did me the world of good, even though at the time I was scared I would never get going again. But I just want to bring in a little story. This is about the Bee Gees, the world's renowned group, the Bee Gees. One of the brothers, I forget which one it was, he was in his last months of life. He had cancer. He knew he was dying. And he was saying to his brothers, we need one more hit, man. We need one more hit. And the eldest, Andy, got a hold of him. He said, we did it, man. We made it. We've left our mark on the world. We did it. We don't have to prove ourselves. We don't have to do any more. Just relax, man. Just chill. Just calm. Take a deep breath. And I think it can be so easy to get caught up in what's next, the conveyor belt. It's never enough, produce. And I think it's advantageous to stop and smell the metaphorical roses once in a while, to reflect on what you've done and how you've helped people. Yeah.
Even on a practical level, when I'm turning out this many tracks, I actually need to make myself stop and take a few days to listen to everything that I've done. Otherwise, I don't really know what I've got there. It is practical. You've got to stop sometimes doing whatever you're doing. You just have to. Yeah. It's not easy for me. I find it really difficult because there's so much to be done in time frames that have to be met. It's quite a juggling act. But the key is the whole Taoist training thing anyway is based around learning to maintain a fairly constant state of flexible, supple delight in being alive through sitting right in your body, so that you remain relaxed no matter what's going on. You don't have to take yourself off to relax. You don't have to take yourself off to meditate. You are meditating all the while. Like I'm meditating while I'm talking to you, but you'd be meditating when you're doing fighting, similar like fighting, I know, but the Tai Chi, whatever. That's the whole point of the martial arts, is to train you to maintain a lovely, beautiful feeling, even if you're fighting. So that's the idea of Taoism. So really, I am built for keeping on going. But I do not envy you. I'm inspired by you taking a month. I really am. I think you could write a book about how to take a month off.
Yeah. We're going to come on to book writing a little bit later on. I'm forward to talking about book writing and your publishing company. But before we do, I'm just going to look at the comments, and I've got something else to ask you. Diana Lane is saying, hey, you two look super fine. Thanks for that, Diana. Lovely showing yourself. And she's also saying, by the way, Barefoot is the reason that's her and I met, which is true. Danny's saying life is wonderful. It certainly is. William Green is saying, is that track up anywhere yet? Do you have any?
Not yet. Not yet.
Grace Grievous saying, loving Ant so far. Can't wait to see what's next here.
Thank you, Grace.
We've got Mac McGregor saying, hello, Danny and Stephen. Hello to you, my friend.
Well, a lovely name, Mac McGregor. I like that name. I like your name, man.
Yeah. And before we jump into publishing and book writing songs, things like that, for any wannabe healers watching, those who are maybe sitting on the sidelines, waiting, thinking, procrastinating, do you have any advice, guidance, inspiration for people just on the fringes, wanting to get out there and thinking, oh, I don't know, I'm scared or whatever?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is to treat it, don't look at it as an overview. Don't get caught up in the whole drama of it being a book that's going to go out there. Forget all that and just go back to the basic operations involved, which is one, writing notes. That's the most important thing. If for the first time anyway, you would keep a notebook around with you. And the point about the notebook is it's not meant to be in order. You're not meant to get your ideas in order in the notebook. That's for the books. Otherwise, you will never get all the notes on. The idea is you bullet point, you handwrite bullet points of notes that could be all over the place, but you just make sure that you can read them. That's important. I say that from personal experience, learning the hard way. And don't run too quickly so you can't read your own writing. And then at some point, the next stage is to take the notes and to start putting them into some kind of order. The next stage is you have to do it, to group all of that into no more than the proverbial 10 chapters. That's the sort of standard given wisdom. That's the amount of chapters that most people can deal with. I don't know, I find all that rather patronizing, but that's kind of the given wisdom. So I tend to stick to it. I think 9 is better still. I just like the number better. Then just basically the next stage is to do, this is like, when all this stuff is not done in blocks, it's just done little bits when you feel like it. But the advice I would give, a tiny little bit every day, is better than saving it up and doing a whole hour on one day a week or something. Just a couple of minutes here and there, because the more you do that, the more you develop a relationship with your notebook, with the idea. The next stage, I was saying, is to order it into 9, 10 chapters. The next stage is to start writing a little bit every day, but don't do it in chronological order. Don't do it in the order that the chapters are. You have to do it like painting by numbers. You have to devise a system where you can write whatever thought it is from your notes into that bit it's going to go in, and leave it there. And then write another bit about another bit. Just do whatever you feel like it. This is my advice. It won't work for everyone, for sure. And the other thing is that when you're writing the first draft, which is what it is, do not, under any circumstances, correct the grammar, the spelling, the syntax, none of it. Stop questioning whether you're writing well or not well. Just write and write. In fact, the more rubbish you write, the better, because it's really easy editing rubbish out. But by allowing yourself to write rubbish, you tend not to. And then the most important thing of all is that you learn to hear how you speak in your own head, because that is the way you write. Don't write differently to the way you think in your head. So you don't kind of think, yeah, well, I'm a writer now, so I've got to use proper words and proper ways. Just talk like you talk to yourself or anyone that you're close to. And that's it. You assume an intimacy with the reader, and then you just talk to them like they're your friend. And then you sort it out after with a couple of edits, and maybe people helping you with the edits, and bish bash bosh, there you are.
Yeah, so do you do your own editing, or do you put it out to an editor?
Oh, I always do my own first one, for sure. And then, then somebody else will edit it for me.
Yeah.
The magnificent Whirly in many cases these days.
Right.
She's
the tip top. Yeah, she's amazing. So I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this, but you've got your own publishing company. Is it Wayward Publications Limited?
But yeah. I mean, we don't make a big noise about it because we're kind of slowly building. But it is working really nicely. Yeah.
So obviously, I'm right in thinking the publisher doesn't help you to get, to bring it to market. Well, obviously you help to do you know what I mean? You don't help to sell it or get behind it. You just kind of bring it to fruition. Is that right? As an author, you've got to market it yourself and things like that.
Well, no, I mean, we do stuff, and we'll kind of make sure that the author is kind of set up got a scheme to work with. But yeah, and obviously the author has to be the one to put the energy into shouting about it. But we'll do that as well. I mean, we'll make sure it all happens. Do the job properly.
Right. So when did
I can't
you
guarantee massive sort of exposure at this stage because we're not that big yet, but it's growing. And with every new author that will come on board, because we've got quite a few commissioned that are really quite interesting stuff, like really quite a very weird range of stuff actually. They're quite unique. Yeah.
When did you start Wayward Publications?
Sort of recently. I mean, it's only really come into being properly about in the last few months, really. It's been coming a while. We've been working on it for ages, but yeah, slowly but surely it's coming together now. Really. The next year is going to be interesting because we've got a lot of interesting releases, what we call the publications coming up. But I think it could be, it could be fun. It could be fun. It could be fun.
Yeah, I've been getting prompts to write a book for years now, but it's coming in stronger now. And what you've just said about how to chunk things down into little bite-sized pieces so it's not overwhelming, it doesn't feel insurmountable. Suddenly, I've had like a paradigm shift where I'm thinking, "Ooh, that sounds very doable." It doesn't seem like a Mount Everest anymore.
No, it's not. It's organic, very easy. I mean, the Handbook for the Urban Warrior was my first proper book that I wrote, and I think I spent about 6 months actually making notes over a 6-month period in a notebook. Obviously, and I took it with me everywhere. Everywhere I went, I had my notebook, and every time I thought of something, I just write it down, another bullet point. And if I needed to have a memory jog to know what I meant by it, I'd put a clue in there. And then I started doing writing by numbers, whichever one of the things I thought, that would be interesting to write that bit today. And then I'd write that, and that's how it came together. I actually wrote the whole book in under 4 weeks, which was, being seen as my first book, it's not bad. I got it down to 6 days eventually, writing the whole book in 6 days. But I wouldn't recommend that. It can make your brain fry. I don't like the writing process. I love writing, but I don't like sitting there writing. I don't like sitting writing for 8 hours on it. So I like to get it over and done with as fast as possible, like in one mad long chunk. That's my crazy way. I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, I read your book, the Handbook of the Urban Warrior. Yeah, an awesome book. In fact, you've got loads of awesome books if people want to check it out on your website.
Thank you.
I'm just going to go to the comments. We've got Sarah saying, "Wayward's doing the great job so far." Oh, you into that? Yes. Dinah saying,
"Thank you."
Yeah, Dinah saying, "Do you have a vision of the success /style of the book?"
She means you, I think.
I don't know, to be honest. She might be talking to me, or she might be.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right. I'll get back to you on that one, Dinah. But probably not. It probably hasn't formulated probably my mind yet, to be honest. Thanks for the question, though. Grace is saying great advice on writing. Get your ideas down and then work backwards. The first pen to paper is the hardest step. Yeah. William's asked a question, but I'll bring that in at the end. It's on my notes, so I won't forget a question, William. Jennifer Stanton is saying, "I'm currently in the process of writing my first book. Thanks for the motivation." Yeah.
You know what? Another thing to remember that we all forget is it's not necessarily going to be your only book. You don't have to get it all out in one book. There's no rule that says get it all out in one book. Go slow. You can write as many books as you want.
Yeah, I have a feeling once I get my first one out, it'll be a bit of a create my own monster. I think there'll be others to come. It's just doing the first one. Dinah's saying the question was to you, Doc. The question of what was the question again?
Do I have an idea of the style of the book? Oh, before I start, I get you. Well, that's a really good question. The style, yeah, definitely. because I come up always first with the title. So the title is always, for me, I wouldn't say you have to do it that way, but for me, once I've got the title, then I know what the book is. I know the vibe of it. I know how it's going to look. I just get the whole thing out of it from the title. So as far as success goes, well, we always have to assume that it's going to work, don't we? I mean, you know, it's good to have that, oh, this is going to be amazing and people are going to love it, but then also temper that with the common sense that says, you know, there's a lot of books and a lot of people making a lot of noise. So, you know, it's like a bit of a fluke if anyone really kind of in numbers gets to it. But that's not really why you're doing it anyway. What the hell? So, you know, you're doing it because you've got to do it. And you do it. And, you know, it'll work or it won't. I'm laughing because this is like the constant internal conversation about everything.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned about once you've got the title of the book, that's it, the book's there. And on a smaller scale, I'm the same with a post. Once I've got the title of a post, I can knock it out. It just comes through me, boom, it writes itself. 10th, douche, bosh, done, posted. So Juliet Owens is saying you've given me the idea to get my poetry in book form, so thank you for that. And we've got my brother Nathan who's just jumped on. He's saying, "Hey, brother. Hello, Nathan. Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you." That was all fantastic advice. I'm going to respin this video when we're done and pick out the pertinent points. So thanks for that, Doc, and I'm sure it's helped the viewers online as well. Right. Just going to move on, if I may. You give some sleep advice a while back, which I tried, and it brings us to a next point where you pretend or you imagine when you're lying in bed that you're dropping, and it does work. But it brings me back to the question in one of your newsletters you wrote a while ago, and I've been meaning to ask you this for a while. It was about talking about manifesting. This notion of going backwards is actually for, how can I put it? It makes more sense to go backwards from a universal perspective as opposed to trying to go towards something that you want. And I remember reading your newsletter at the time thinking, I must ask you to kind of wrap some different words around that so I can strengthen my understanding. Do you follow what I'm asking? Do you remember?
I do very much. If you think about how the universe works on a physical level, it's all about gravitational pull of planets around the sun. Everything's orbiting, and the orbit gives it a lot of space. There's a lot of space for things to be drawn to it into, but to be able to draw things. So difficult to talk about. Okay, so this is it. We tend to rush towards the object of desire. I'm going to achieve that thing. I'm going to have that thing, and you go towards it. And the Taoist way is saying, don't rush towards things, because actually you're more likely to push them away like that. In terms of the law of mutual magnetism, you're more likely to cause a repulsion rather than an attraction. The way to attract stuff to you, if you believe, you know, if that's your model that you attract things to you, which is certainly a valid one, you know, is that you have to kind of draw back to create space for the magnet to have a field in which to draw things. And the way you do that is to move backwards instead of forwards. It's just, the other thing is the natural motion to the place of power, because we originated from the spine outwards. At a cellular level, we start with the spine and then we grow out from there. So it's the point of repair. It's the first point of physicality is the back. So it's natural to kind of keep going backwards to where we came from, really, and beyond that to wherever it is we came from before we were conceived. So it's a natural thing to seek the source of being behind you, because that's where you come from, and that's the point, really. And it works. What I can say is it works, because as you do it, you feel supported by the Tao, by life, by the presence informing it all. Because you can feel it, you're backing into it, and then you get a sense of it pushing you forwards, if you like. If you like the forward motion, you get the real motion from it, rather than this fake, contrived, silly one that we all kind of get into ourselves. Oh, yeah. The thing is you rush backwards like that, you create a wake here. Like if you were water skiing backwards like that, and the boat was behind you, there'd be a wake in front of you. Into that wake, It's a vacuum. The vacuums are always filled, so that draws into it the seed of everything that you need. And then comes a kind of gracious letting go rather than a grasping. Oh, is it going to work? It's just like, yeah, whatever's going to be will now come to me in its own way. They also say that when you rush forwards, you're going from the next event to the next event, so that you're never present. And then you end up dying thinking, well, what was all that about? I just missed the whole ride. Whereas when you train yourself to go backwards, you kind of get more youthful as you get older. You return to your original state. Like me, it's like a 4-year-old. Most of the time, it's how I feel as a 4-year-old. And that's very healthy because it makes the body work better. It makes the mind work better. It improves your mood. And you're playing all the time. But you've got the experience of adulthood to make it work for you. And that's all we wanted. When you were 4, before you had to go to school or whatever, all you wanted to do was just play and have fun. And then the rest of it was learning how to move things around to enable you to play and have fun in life. And so that's what we're doing now.
Thank you, Doc. I get it now. I understand it. I always learn much better from watching videos than I do reading a book. I can read a book. I'm not talking about your book per se, just any book. I pick a book up. There's some things I've got to read it, like this concept 5 or 6 times, and I'm still like not quite sure what I meant there. If I watch someone talking about something on a video, bosh, it goes in. I get it. So
I could talk about it 100 different ways. I mean, so anytime you want to talk more, I'm delighted to, because I love that topic. That's my life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheers, Doc. So we've got Sarah is saying, I'm working at this moment as I listen to my feedback for the cover for my creative regeneration book. Extremely excited and grateful to you, Stephen.
Yeah, you see, we're doing Sarah's book, and I'm very proud to say we are, because she's quality, proper quality. Yeah. She's the real thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Diana's got a question. She's saying, how does Barefoot deal with distractions and requests on your time when you're working on your various projects? It's a good question, that.
I don't get distracted. I stay on it all day, really, and I allow. When I go out at lunchtime is when I make my phone calls, answer text messages, and I do the emails. Try not to do them for more than half an hour a day if possible, and that's what I do. I mean, they're the distractions. I don't want to go out much. And where I live, it's on purpose. Don't have to socialise too much here. It's cool. It's like people understand, so I can work. And it would be more natural for me to live where there were a lot of people I'd hang out with, but then I'd never get any work done. So I actually take myself away from the temptation to be a big socialiser, because I just waste all my time like that. Not waste. It's nice to hang out with people. You know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It can get so bloody addictive, this damn thing, you know.
Yeah, really.
From experience, you know. Yeah. Yeah. So that one.
Flight mode. That's the answer. Yes. Flight mode.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to turn your phone to flight mode. That's how I do it. Yeah.
Nice one. You've given loads of value as always, Stephen, and I want to switch to something that's certainly been on my mind, and I dare say it's on the minds of others as well, watching and beyond. And the world, as you know, is changing at an ever faster rate, exponentially, if you like. Yeah. And there's talk of within 5 years there'll be robots in the workplace, artificial intelligence everywhere. This will extend to driverless cars, buses, taxis. We hear of drones delivering your takeaways to your door already in China, and it makes you wonder when all this is headed, for goodness sake. So I guess there's a certain amount of anxiety for the future with all mass unemployment, this is going to create. So I wonder if you've had any thoughts, got any insights, on the subject. How do you see the future?
Well, I'd say that was the least of our problems. that one, that's the benign end of it all, isn't it? Uh-huh. All I can say is that I keep on focusing on the qualities of humanity I admire and love, and they grow for me. And I don't assume that anyone is any different. I tend to assume everybody is filled with the power of goodness. It's about who they are, the people in the news even. I tend to give everyone that. I see the good in everyone. I see the Tao in everybody. And then I don't assume I know what's going to happen. I get views of it sometimes, but what I do is I just keep focusing on the idea that we can do this somehow. I don't have to know how. We can actually somehow we can do this. I kind of I'd be really surprised if it continues as it does it smoothly enough to facilitate that next stage of technology at the moment. Though I've got a funny feeling it ain't going to happen. I hope it doesn't actually, because that does bother me a lot. The AI, self-driven cars, all of that stuff. Maybe it's, you know, an old guy, maybe it's like, really don't like the thought of that at all, any of it. But I don't like the robotization of people that I see going on. I don't think it's very sexy. I mean, in the media sense of sexy, it's like, you know, come on. Yeah, there's that. What I really feel is going to happen actually is a swing back, because what we've done is we've really moved very, very far into the extremes of materialism and superficiality and mediocrity, dressed up as slickness and what have you. I do think that there's a reaction occurring on a major level, at ground level, which will take a while to show itself. And all being well, there won't be any major catastrophe along the way that's needed to make it happen. But I do think I'm seeing it. I know there's going to be a resurgence bigger than ever of the enlightenment promised in the Aquarian age. That's what we're heading into. Mustn't forget that. It was always predicted that the crossover between Pisces and Aquarius would be tumultuous, and that's what's going on. You know, the old age of suffering is not going to let go that easy and give way to the new age of enlightenment. It's not going to happen in 1 second, but that's what we're in the throes of. So we have to stay focused on the new age of enlightenment rather than the dragon wagging its tail at the end of the age of suffering, because that's what's going on. And hold steady and hold firm and trust that everything is as it's meant to be, that we've all elected to come here at this time because we're really privileged to watch this show. So let's not get freaked out by it. Let's enjoy it at least. And my whole thing is, I don't know if we can save the ecology. I don't know if we can stop the sea levels rising. I don't know if we can prevent mutants going for a world war. I don't know if we can stop an asteroid smashing into us. I don't know any of these things, but I do know whatever's going to happen, we'll have a much better time of it if we start being kind and loving to each other and inclusive and realise we're all family rather than playing this ridiculous school playground game of, now you're no good, like stop all that for a bit at least and just see the beauty in everybody. We can all be friends, we can. So we can get on with everybody if we let go of nonsense. And that's what I'd like to see, everyone having fun, at least till the lights go out, you know. I hope that's not too scary enough. So.
No, it makes sense to try and focus on more what is right with the world, like you say. And it's also, I've remembered that I was reading something the other day that this has got a positive spin on it. It's not doom and gloom. What they're planning on doing is putting transmitters for 5G on every lamppost on the roads, which will have Wi-Fi everywhere to facilitate driverless cars. But what I was reading the other day is suddenly lampposts have now become very hot property and they've now become very valuable. So there's a big legal wrangle going on. People who own the lampposts want more money. So they said it's going to put paid for 2 years before they're going to be able to roll it out. So it's going to postpone things for at least 2 years. So that's it follows up from what you were saying about, I don't know if this is going to actually come to pass. Is people are predicting that it will. So interesting. Yeah. Moving on, we had a question from William earlier. It's on my list of things to ask you about as well. You've got a retreat coming up in Spain in September, and the places I suspect will be starting to fill up now. I wonder if you could give an update on what delights you have in store for people who are thinking about signing up, and anything else you want to share about it.
Yeah, I mean, I hesitate always to define them too precisely ahead of time because they happen organically, and the whole point about the Taoist thing is that you don't contrive it that much. You can try and roll with, you have an intention, you roll with what happens. But over the years, I have done these for decades, I like doing retreats. So for me, they're my time off, really, focusing on other people and being of service. I love it, especially in beautiful places. It's a couple of hours, 2.5 hours every morning. A civilized time, 10:30 or whatever, to do qigong and mess about with each other and talk about stuff, play psychodrama games, teach people stuff, meditate, and have discussions about a particular theme. So we set the theme, because the theme is all about undoing what's blocking you and inviting in what you need. And the idea of the whole thing is kind of, it sets up a whole run of miracles in everybody's lives. That's the point of it. Then in the afternoon, or late afternoon, another couple of hours, 2.5 hours or whatever, of more kind of fun, freestyle. I'm going to have a sound system there, and I'm going to play act with or without words, need to do words or just do it that way, whatever. You know, that's a little bit of a party and a discussion, and but not just the nonsense. It would be about helping everybody find their power properly in a pretty organic way. And then I'm around, and in between times, you know, help people one-on-one if they need it, and have fun at night as well. The time with that, and it's a beautiful place. It's a lovely spot. That's kind of it. So, in my experience, people come in one state and they leave in a totally transformed state with a lot of power, and ready for it, ready for the, you know, the action that's going to come up for them next, rather than going into a big hit and then having to kind of, you know, like it works. I leave people with proper tools. I'm quite keen on doing that.
Yeah, that all sounds fantastic. I know William's just typed into the comments that he's thinking about attending himself. What would be good to bring for someone, you know, like himself who's thinking of attending? What sort, I don't know, if he's thinking like a practical sense, you know, what, I'm not really sure. Maybe you might want to follow up, William, with, we talked about like a blanket, for argument's sake, to lie on. Or...
We got them. We got everything. We got everything you need, really.
So I guess just personal effects and a bit of spending money and a smile. Because I've seen the accommodation on your website. The venue looks quite beautiful.
Yeah.
Very, very well selected and thought out. Yeah. And Dinah saying, listening to Barefoot sounds like spoken word poetry.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You're lovely to say, because I was thinking, I wish I was more eloquent today. I feel a bit like, what's the word? A bit stuck in my, I can't think of the words today. But thank you.
I think eloquent is definitely a word I would use to describe you. If someone was asking me to describe the Barefoot Doctor, Stephen Russell, I would definitely have eloquent in there. Right. That was awesome, Doc. Thank you so much for everything you've shared today. I don't know if you'd be so kind to talk us through one of your amazing visualizations before we finish.
What would you like it to be focused on?
Well, I think I'd like to follow up on the vision of the world, where you said let's focus. So let's try and dissipate the fear aspect and focus on what is right with Mother Earth, what is beautiful about her, what bountiful gifts she does give us, that sort of thing, and focus on that, and just kind of put some positivity in around that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. Start off by focusing on breathing out, and each time you breathe out, get a feeling of releasing just the energy that needs to be released from your body and mind. The kind of the energy supporting any thought streams that aren't pleasing for you or aren't actually serving you. Let that energy go on the out breath. The energy that's being used to maintain pain in place in your body, let that energy go as well. So that with each out breath, you're letting go of the setup that was there before. And by, with each in-breath, start to get a feeling that you're inducting the qualities and assets that you need. Strength, clarity of mind, unity of mind, feeling satisfied, feeling relaxed, feeling supple, feeling that you can endure, that you'll abide no matter what. You know, the strength of mind, strength of character, all the courage and kindness and the ability to receive the kindness of others, for example. With all these qualities, you're breathing in the energy that will support those. So by and by, you're releasing what doesn't need to be in your sphere and inducing what does need to be in there. You don't have to enumerate where any of that is, by the way. And Get a feeling now that as you breathe in, each time you breathe in, you're actually breathing in a line of light from the tip of your spine to the crown of your head. And as you breathe out, you're breathing out a line of light from the crown of the head, down behind the face, behind the chest, through behind the belly to the behind the pubic bone, between your legs, where it hooks into the first stream, so that every time you breathe in, the end of the light goes up the back. Every time you breathe out, it goes down the front of the spine in a loop. And each time the light goes up the back of you, it's refining, strengthening your sphere, your being. Every time it drops down the front, you're purifying your sphere, your being. So you're breathing in the light up the rear of the spine, and everything's becoming more refined. You're breathing out the light down the front of the spine, everything's becoming purer. That means purer of all dross, of all kinds. And the refinement that's increasing with every in-breath means that you're becoming stronger, more focused, more able, more capable of contributing, so on. And then, as you're doing that, you become aware that the idea that you are a limited, individuated being confined within the space of your body is probably just a belief and not a correct one. And that, in fact, the boundaries of who you are know no limit. And you are really, ultimately, as big as the whole of existence. And you are therefore the Tao, you are existence, you are life, you are the universe in human form with your face on it. But what you are is that, you are the universe. And so as the in-breath is causing the refinement of the field, and as the out-breath is causing the purification of the field, you're actually, with your breathing, refining and purifying the entirety of existence right now. And we're doing it together, so that has a synergistic effect. You're breathing in and you're refining the whole universe, the quality of the universe. You're breathing out and you're purifying the whole universe. Presumptuous as it may seem, that's what we're actually doing right now. We are doing that. We are refining and purifying the entire field for everyone's benefit. And now, if you just contemplate the planet Earth, and imagine us sitting in a circle all the way around the planet, outside of the atmosphere, like we're big archangel type beings, all of us, and we're holding it steady. That's our role. It's like an ayahuasca ceremony. We're sitting in a big circle around the planet, and we're doing it as an act of service to hold everything steady for everyone. And you see the planet down there in the midst of us, in the middle of our circle, looking beautiful, blue and green and white, a bit of beige and so on, and majestic, lit by the sun on one side, mysteriously dark on the other. And you can see from where we are how it's spinning on its axis at 1,000 miles an hour, while zooming in an easterly direction around the sun in a heliocentric orbit at no less than 66,000 miles an hour. We can actually see it, satellites in the sun like that, and all the other planets that are in their orbits around as well. And it's really quite remarkable and exciting. Then we focus in a little bit. You see that there is turbulence in the energy field of Earth itself at the moment. And this is being acted out by the people. It's not being, I wouldn't say it's caused by humanity, but humanity is definitely responding to this exponentially accelerating energy that is expressed in the Schumann resonance, for example. You know, the frequency of the planet is increasing exponentially, and humans are responding to that by being as we are. And the planet itself is powerful. The planet, we don't have to worry about the planet. The planet has the power to regenerate itself. The concern, of course, is for the humans and quite a lot of other species, most other species, that exist because of the planet. The planet's fine. It's us that we have to be concerned for. And if you now look at the people on the surface of the planet, unwittingly responding to this exponentially increasing energy frequency, not quite knowing what to do with it, because it's nature, human nature is to thrive at all costs. Nature does that, doesn't it? There's this increasing sense of competitiveness and a retrenching, a regressing into sort of very kind of primitive, competitive mode, which is not really productive. But we do know that we've evolved beyond that. We know that we've got past that. And we are able to focus on the qualities of humanity that we like and that we need right now to come to the fore in order for everything to be dealt with, if it's going to be dealt with in a sensible way that's going to have a good effect. And so picture that each of us now finds the love in our heart. This is not sentimental. It's not a sentimental notion. This is the energy of the heart, the raw human energy that will help rescue, save another person who's in trouble. That part of us that is noble, that responds not because we think we should, not because it's a good thing, a nice kind thing, or an honourable or noble thing to do, just because we can't help it. We had to do that. That kindness, that love, that seeing others as kin and wanting to collaborate, cooperate, and work together rather than against. That feeling in your heart right now, and we're all doing it. And imagine beaming that through the heart at the planet, and it's like, I see it as like a shaft of rose golden light with incredible power, intensity, and velocity coming from each of our hearts and splashing onto the planet's surface and spreading to every part of the Earth's atmosphere, and therefore touching every single living being in their heart, even if they're not aware of it, especially right now, specifically I'm talking about the people. So all the people, of course it's all creatures, but all the people are being touched in the heart right now by this love that we're each sending, the power of love that we're each sending. And this power of love contains the energy of kindness and collaborativeness and collectivism and altruism that's required for us to evolve to the next stage now. That going beyond the self-centered, gotta have it, into we have to do what's best for us all now. That spirit of collaboration, of cooperation, see it infusing the sphere of every single living being. And remember, we're doing this by the free will of everyone, not against their will. We're addressing the background presence inside of everyone that's behind all the noise, behind all the good, bad, the nasty, horrible, lovely, wonderful, and all the rest of it. The presence sits behind it all. And it knows that, and it realizes it, acknowledges, thank you, I get you, I'm getting you, thank you for doing this. So we're touching the deep heart of everyone on the planet right now. And what we're touching them with is the feeling of like, wait a minute, we don't have to be being this combative. Let's relax a bit. Look, it's better if we're not our enemies. We can be here together. We can make this work. We can make this work much better than fighting each other. And ushering that in as the next phase of the swing of the yin yang rather than the opposite. Let's picture that now. Everyone on the planet really surprised to find that we're all getting on so well with each other. Really surprised to find the world leaders talking in a much more enlightened and intelligent way, which they've been wanting to do for ages, but was sort of playing to the crowd, and now are not doing that. Suddenly talking sense and feeling, wow, everything's suddenly quantum shifted. How amazing! What a miracle! And let's just picture that. If we're wrong, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Let's picture that. Let that be our intention, because you never know. By focusing on it with intent, it can happen. Bigger miracles have happened. It can happen. So that's what we have to see. Everyone becoming more and more loving, and that's spreading to everyone, especially the leaders, and that causes a shift from underneath rather than from the externals, because the ones that come from inside are always much more powerful. Okay, then realize that you yourself are one of those people on the planet, as well as being that angel out in space. You are one of the people on the planet, and feel it coming in through the back of your head, that force that has just been sent, and feel it filling your body through your shoulder blades, so your heart is almost bursting with goodness, and you're feeling like, everything's possible. I'm feeling good. Life is beautiful. And I know we're in danger, but we've always been in danger. Nothing's ever changed. We're always in danger, and we come through it. We can come through it now. And have that feeling of positivity and allow yourself to come back into the waking state with that feeling forming you.
What a beautiful visualization. And I love the whole way you set it up and seeing the world leaders coming together and being more loving and everything. Yeah, that was fantastic. Thank you so much, Doc. I'm going to flash more. There's it going. Flash your website across the screen, barefootdoctorworld.com. You can find all sorts of goodness on it about your publishing company, about Amped. There's going to be the microdoses on there before too long, from what we're hearing. You've got the Doc's sign up option for his newsletter, which I'm always bringing to these live sessions because they hold so much wisdom and goodness. So I very, very much recommend you get onto his mail list if you're not already. And I think that is about us. I just want to thank you for your time, Doc, your expertise, your energy, your knowledge, your wisdom. You've been amazing. You've given so much value. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you too. You're such a lovely, lovely man, and you're so kind and generous and open-hearted and giving me the space. Thank you, really, thank you. And I've loved every minute of it. Let's do it soon.
Yes, let's do it soon. And thank you to everyone for jumping on, and big love to you all. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.